Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Pearcey presents the Pearcey Presents podcast.
The Pearcey Presents Podcast.
Hello and welcome back to the Pearcey Presents podcast for episode number 7, featuring the fantastic Michael Brinkley, one of the co-founders of a brand new drink, UTONIC. The best way I find to sum up Michael is he's an entrepreneur, wild man, romantic, and genuinely just a great bloke. Michael is our guest for episode number 7. As I said, he is one of the founders of UTONIC, and UTONIC is a great new health drink out in the market. The reason I wanted to get him onto the podcast was, as I've said before, really to get a diversity amongst the guests. There's not just going to be sports stars, there's just not going to be media people, entertainers and the like. This man covers many different aspects. He really was a fantastic guy. He spent a huge amount of time. He came to my house. He's born and bred in Adelaide, and he was down in Melbourne on business, and he was kind enough to pop in and spend a few hours at the Pearcey Palace. We talk about so many different things. It was a really great chat, so I cut it up into 2 episodes. So this is going to be part 1. And then next week, obviously, it will be part 2. Now, part 1, we discuss a great array of topics. He gives us some great stories about being an entrepreneur as a young child that allowed him to purchase some flight tickets and a stereo, along with some other things. He had a very close relationship with his father and was a toy builder. We talk about different ways of researching and developing skills that I can certainly attest to that I've needed to do, certainly with this podcast, but I certainly like to do just in general to broaden my horizons. As the people that know me, I was never great at school, but I like to think that I'm not completely stupid. I'm able to get a podcast up and running, and some people might think that it's fairly simple, but I've spent a lot of time in organising and facilitating a good product that I hope that you're all enjoying. So all the feedback that I've had so far has been really good, and I really appreciate it. I've had some really good suggestions that I'll be looking to implement over the coming months. As I've said the previous 6 episodes, if there's any feedback, good, bad, constructive, please let me know via social media, email, info@pearceypresents.com. I'm open to hear anything, because this show is for you guys, and I want you to enjoy it and to be able to tell your friends and your family, and so we grow that listenership, and so more people can enjoy the show. We talk about how he received a scholarship to Prince Alfred College, and we discuss private school education over public school education, thoughts on AFL players considering being an AFL player a job. I'm not sure if many of you know, but I certainly have heard, certainly in the last few years, that AFL players, they love the game growing up, as I'm sure us AFL fans can appreciate. Growing up, we certainly loved it. Our dream would have been to play AFL, or certainly it was one of my dreams. But then these AFL players, they get drafted and then they consider it a job because of all the demands. So we discuss that. We talk about if he knew what he wanted to do after school, which I know is something that we all go through. He has a great story about studying economics, finance, a cracking yarn about an exam, and I'll let Michael talk about what happened during that exam. He did wine marketing as well, and that took him around the world. So we get some really good insight into what he did, how he did it, and where the wine industry took him. He was also a diamond buyer and designer. So really, wine and diamonds, it was quite a luxurious life, or a luxurious job title up until that point. Certainly one of the highlights of this episode is a great story that Michael gives us about a pub in England and the Union Jack. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to give you any more, but that story alone is worth a listen. Michael, along with 3 other people, has started UTONIC. One of those people is Collingwood great Tyson Goldsack, who I had the great pleasure of meeting the following day at Richie's, one of the stockists of UTONIC. Now, UTONIC, they actually provide a range of scientifically blended drinks produced from concentrated real foods and target nutrients to help transform the way you feel. Now, these are 100% natural, 100% Australian owned and made. I certainly like to support Australian business and entrepreneurs. If you are the same, I would certainly suggest getting on board with these guys. They have a number of different products: UTONIC Charge, UTONIC Repair, and UTONIC Calm. Michael was absolutely awesome and has actually provided a UTONIC sample pack, which you'll hear during the episode. It provides one of each of these drinks and also a gym towel, I believe, and some other little goodies. And that is actually part of the Pearcey Presents prize booty. So continue to give the show a 5-star rating, share it on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages, so you will be in the running to win the Pearcey Presents prize booty, along with everything else we've mentioned. This is the latest addition to the Pearcey Presents prize booty. So I really suggest that you getting on utonic.com. Now that's spelled UTONIC.com. They offer free delivery. So it's a great alternative to Gatorade, Powerades. There's certain drinks for certain situations. So if you're feeling a little bit stressed, you can use UTONIC Calm. If you've just played sport or you've had training, you can use UTONIC Repair. And if you need a bit of a kick, you can use UTONIC Charge. So as I said, there's a lot of information at utonic.com. The website and their social media channels will be on the pearceypresents.com website and also in the show notes. And I'll certainly have those details with our social media posts coming up in the following days. So that's enough from me. Thanks so much for listening to me babble on again. I do appreciate it. I do hope you are loving the Pearcey Presents podcast. As I've said, please share the show links. Please spread the word to your family and friends. Invite them to like the page on Facebook, retweet on Twitter, or share or reshare the Instagram pages and posts. It's greatly appreciated. Or just ask them to go to pearceypresents.com and they can get the information from there, or just get them to private message me and I will be more than happy to walk them through the process. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day and enjoy our chat with Mr. Michael Brinkley of UTONIC.
Tyson Goldsack on UTONIC.
I like the idea of a drink you could take that's still good for you but gives you a little kick when you need it. Lee, who's a co-founder, he wanted something that would help him kind of relax. We came up with this idea that, well, let's just make a range of drinks that's functional. All 3 are all natural. UTONIC Charge is your energy drink. This one's probably starkly different to any other drink on the market because it's not high in sugar and it doesn't have a real sudden high energy effect to it.
We've also included green tea, so we know that green tea contains a lower level of caffeine than what coffee does, but it also contains an ingredient called L-theanine, which basically helps with a nice regulated release of energy.
So for me that's pretty important, knowing that I can take it either at the start of a game or an hour leading into a game and know I've still got energy by the end, and same for training days or weights. So it's that was pretty essential and that's probably going to be my #1 product. So Repair's antioxidants, anti-inflammatory and good for digestion. I used it after the game or after I do weights to help my body recover.
Really high in antioxidants, and those antioxidants basically mop up anything or any damage that we've done throughout the day.
And then the 3rd one is Calm. Great feedback on Calm. It was a really interesting drink. It's trying to help lower anxiety, help lower stress, and help you sleep at night. So if you're a bit of a restless sleeper, then this would be the drink that will help you take it an hour before you go to bed and just helps you calm and relax.
The main ingredient in UTONIC Calm is sour cherry, and sour cherry is known to naturally contain melatonin, which is helps with restful sleep.
So here we are with the wonderful Michael Brinkley from UTONIC. Michael, thank you very much for coming to Pearcey's Palace down here in Frankston, mate. You're not a Melbourne boy. You're actually from Adelaide. Is that correct?
Correct. Thanks for having me down here. Really happy to be down in Frankston today. It's been 5 years since I've been to Frankston, but loving it.
Fantastic, mate. So you're an Adelaide boy originally, is that correct?
Yes, born and bred in Adelaide. Did live overseas for a little period of my life in France and Canada, but family and friends are all there, and love being in Adelaide.
Perfect. And what brings you to Melbourne at the moment, mate?
So over here, launching one of our new beverages, our new kombucha range into the market. Just having a look around and meeting some friends and family as well at the same time.
Perfect. So you're born and bred in Adelaide. How would your parents describe a young Michael?
Out of control, I would say.
So what's changed?
So what's changed is I'm married now and I have responsibilities.
Fantastic. You still have a bit of a wild streak though?
Yes, definitely like to live life to the fullest. So do have my wild streak, my party streak.
I think we all do, don't we?
Yeah,
just
definitely.
Depends on how
I think you
hard
need
it is.
it. You need
to. You do. You need to have a bit of a out time, don't you?
Yeah.
A wild time. Did you always have an entrepreneur streak growing up, mate?
I think from a young age, I guess I wanted to have, finance to be able to do things. And so the way to do that is obviously, work, create something. So I saw an opportunity in my area to wash cars.
Lovely.
So started a car washing round. And I also started helping my dad make wooden toys.
Nice.
So I was sanding and cutting from a young age to be able to obviously earn money to do things.
Fantastic.
So,
and are you quite handy?
Yes, in my backyard I've built an outdoor pizza oven, an Argentinian grill. I've paved, I've done electrical work and plumbing. Probably not legal, but...
We won't tell anyone.
I have had it tested by my mate who's a Sparky, so he came and checked it once I'd done it all just to make sure that it was all above board, and he was very impressed with the work that I'd done. So,
that's fantastic.
I definitely love to challenge myself and step outside my comfort zone and try new things and learn new things, definitely.
That's awesome. So obviously you've taken that work ethic across your whole life that we will cover off during this chat. Do you have any examples of what you would have purchased with that money as a young fella? Any special purchases that stand out?
Yeah, so one of them was my cousins lived in Queensland and I really wanted to go and see them. And back then flying was super expensive. I remember I think my return flights, cost about $700 or $800 to get up there. So as a young kid to make that sort of money, it takes time.
Does.
But I did it, and then the next one was I wanted a stereo for my room, so saved up for the money and bought the stereo.
Fantastic! You still got the stereo as a bit of a memory piece?
sold that years ago.
Sold it. See, get a bit of a return on investment. I love it. Love it.
Yep, garage sale.
So they're the two big purchases that stick out, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, it takes a while as a young kid to save up $800 to buy the plane tickets. So
it does. But back in those days, there wasn't like there was more of a monopoly on the airplane.
Yeah, definitely.
Business.
Yeah.
Like I went to Sydney, I think it was about a month ago, and it was although it was with Tiger, I paid
$50 or something.
$50 return because it was a special.
Yeah.
So it was pretty much cheaper to get from Sydney or Melbourne to Sydney and back than it was to get from Frankston to the airport. And it was quicker to get from Melbourne to Sydney.
Yeah.
It's
crazy.
With all the tolls and all that.
Yeah.
It blows my mind. But yeah, like you said, back in those days, easy $700-800. Although you get a bit better service, but
true.
You're in the sky for a couple of hours. Who cares? Yeah,
exactly.
So that's something. Do you still have that ability to save? Because I know some kids save. Like I used to save up and then obviously buy certain exciting things, but now not so much. I'm kind of once it comes in, it kind of goes out just as quick.
I'm married now, so
you don't have control of the bank account.
I think saving is something that my parents taught me in an early age. I was very diligent and very good at it. I think the skill that I've got now is to be thrifty.
Yes.
But going through a stage of my life now where getting married and bought a house and obviously starting a business, so there's just a lot of money going out. So it's more so just not spending money where you can. So whether that's at the shops or making things yourself, or obviously learning all these new trades to not have to pay someone else to do it. So that's the way I save at this part of my life, rather than actually haven't seen a bank balance go up. But that'll come.
Yeah, exactly right. Is that something that you would suggest, not just young kids, but all people to try and replicate, to try and learn new skills? Obviously, with the internet these days, it's so easy to get access to that material, as in that reference material. If you YouTube saying how to do something, obviously you got to do a bit of an outlay for the materials. But I've certainly found with the setup of this podcast, for example, is I don't have to go particularly and spend hundreds of dollars on learning how to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
I can do a bit of research online, not just look at one place, but look at different places, make my own opinion and learn from there. Is that something that you would suggest?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot more satisfaction in that. If you want to know how to do something, just teach yourself. You can learn everything.
Absolutely. So I'm taking it you would have learned a lot growing up. You said that your dad taught you how to sand and sculpt the toys.
Yeah.
Was there any other particular skills that stand out that you may still use to this day that you needed to research, and what methods did you do to
Well, my dad was a tech studies teacher, so he did a lot of stuff like building around the house, so laying bricks and everything. So that definitely taught me a lot. The one thing he didn't do was electrics.
Yes.
Just because I think the dangers involved. But my dad is quite a conservative man, whereas I'm much more of a risk taker. Yes. So I think the electric sort of excites you a little bit.
Yeah. True, that gets back to your wild side.
Yeah, exactly. But going to university teaches you to research, I think. So you just know how to source out information, whether that's, ringing someone or on the internet or watching YouTube. There's just so many different resources out there. And that just gives you the confidence to go out there and use all them. So my advice is, just put yourself out there and, have a crack.
Absolutely. And there's podcasts as well that you can listen to. You were mentioning a podcast that you were listening to on the way over because you drove from Adelaide to Melbourne.
Yeah.
What was that podcast?
It's called How I Built This. So, and it looks with Guy Raz, it looks at a lot of different companies and their journey. And, you'll see that things like Instagram, they didn't start as a massive $1 billion business. They started as just someone talking about, let's do something that can share photos and maybe let's add filters in there. And then it just evolves. So, same with any other business. They all start at nothing.
Exactly right. And as you said, evolution's the key. I don't think in business or in life that you should stay still.
Yeah.
Whether that be personal, that you think that you know it all about a certain subject, or as a business that your products are the perfect solution for
everyone.
Whatever. Exactly right.
Yeah.
You need to constantly evolve, and I think that that's something that a lot of businesses are good at.
Yeah.
But there's certainly a lot of businesses, for whatever reason, it might just be mindset. There's numerous different reasons why that might be the case, but evolution is probably the key. I know social media is a certain part of it, but it's the product, it's...
Pivoting.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Perfect word. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So what kind of student would you say that you were, and did you actually enjoy school?
I did enjoy school. I think being social, I wouldn't say I was a good student at all.
We have something in common.
My ability, I think, to concentrate and, you've got to learn to do this. I'm like, well, why? Like, I need a reason. So,
yes.
Whereas, doing things at home and building, like, I want to have a pizza oven, so I'm going to learn how to build it and then I can enjoy that. So that was my struggle at school. So I wasn't a dedicated student. My dad was a teacher at the school, which made it difficult. So anytime I was in trouble, he got word real quick. got sent home from a year 8 camp. That didn't go home too well.
Can you elaborate on that?
Just did the wrong thing. I won't go too far into
Sneak
it.
into the girls' cabins or something? And
Something like that.
The silence says it all.
Something like that. But then I got a scholarship to another school for music, academic, and sporting. And I went to a really prestigious school in Adelaide called Prince Alfred College for year 11 and 12.
Wow.
So, yeah, that was a massive change up for me, going from, I guess, a public school where the teachers didn't have the accountability, whereas a private school, you know, the parents are paying thousands of dollars to send them there. So the teachers are right on you and helping you and pushing you. And, yeah, so it was a really, really different sort of experience, but, well worth it.
Do you think that not going to that private school would have made you any different? Because this is something that I have a discussion with. Me being 32, I've got a lot of friends that are at that age where they're having kids or their kids are approaching school.
Yeah.
And I had a conversation with 2 of my best friends in Sydney about this. Do you think that would have changed you or your potential career after or not going to a private school? Because as you said, the teachers are on you, they want to help you. Not saying that public teachers, and this isn't
no, my dad was a public teacher and he was a really good teacher, so there's definitely good ones in there, but if there's a bad one in a private school, they're going to get kicked out pretty quick.
On the arse, shown the door.
No, but the way I look at it is, you know, everything you've done in your past gets you to here. So, you know, if I didn't go to that private school, then I probably wouldn't be here. I'd be somewhere else.
Exactly.
It just changes. It changes your journey. So, and it's 2 years of your life. So that shapes you. You know, if you're there for a couple of weeks, it probably won't affect you. But when you spend a good period of your life there, then those experiences do shape you.
Absolutely. What made you happy growing up?
Being outside.
So you're an outside boy?
Yeah, just being active, obsessed with the beach, keeping fit, throwing a ball around, just, you know, all of that, just being active. I pushed for my mum to get me a Sega Master System.
Yes.
I had to work to buy that. So
that's
one of the other things.
Another thing we have in common.
Yeah, got that one game and cracked it, and then I was done. Started playing outside again.
And like that's the thing that certainly I think about when I was younger. The build-up was probably more exciting than actually the reward for some things.
Yeah.
Like you think that, well, I thought that I had to have this.
Yeah.
You get it and it's like, well, it was something that was really cool, but I didn't really need it straight away or didn't really need it at all.
Yeah.
I can appreciate where you're coming from that. Obviously, I'm no picture of fitness, so you are. And like before we started the podcast, you were talking about doing a triathlon.
Yep.
When did you do that?
That was in 2013.
Okay.
So at the time I was engaged.
Yes.
To an Italian bird who was living overseas. She was doing a PhD in volcanology.
Gee whiz.
And obviously, so, you know, being having a bit of spare time then and just trying to keep your mind off things, I, you know, just thought, well, let's challenge myself and do something that's going to require a lot of mental capacity and physical capacity, and that was an Ironman. So
it was an Ironman, that's right. I was just about to ask that. Yes.
So the full Ironman, so 3.8k swim, 180k bike ride, 42.2k run. But mine was actually, they shortened the swim to 1.5k's because it was a very, very windy day down at Frankston and the waves were massive. So that was a bit disappointing in that, but that added another sort of crazy element to it. Right. Just so hectic and so many people in the one spot and yelling and screaming. They sent divers down there to make sure that people didn't drown.
Whoa.
So it was pretty full on.
So even though it wasn't the 3.6, it was probably or probably worse.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed it because I grew up going surfing and stuff like that. So you just body surfing and it was fun for me. So but for people that have trained the last year in a flat pool.
Yes.
It's a pretty scary.
Different ball game.
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you still do some triathlons, Ironmans, but obviously not part of the Ironman series.
No. So it's different. So the Ironman series is like the Kellogg's Nutri-Grain guys. The Ironman triathlon is a different series. So there's like 5 or 6 around Australia.
Okay.
But yeah, I still do some little triathlons here and there, but mainly just do my own running and riding and swimming.
just for a challenge for yourself? Or?
Well, just to keep fit, healthy body, healthy mind, and also obviously with our drinks company, it's a very big sort of health and lifestyle push. So you gotta live the brand.
Exactly right, and that's UTONIC. Is that correct?
UTONIC.
That's perfect. UTONIC. So yes, we will talk about that towards the end. That's something that I'm sure you're very excited about. I'm very excited about talking to you about it as well. So obviously you've had a bit of a love for sports.
Yep.
Was that a love that you had growing up at school, or was it something you kind of developed after school?
No, it was during school. So if I think of a few games that I played, it was indoor cricket, outdoor cricket, football, soccer, volleyball, netball, hockey, touch football, did athletics, did baseball, did t-ball, did swimming.
I think we should just go through this. This is what you didn't do, mate. So that might be, as we here all day.
So yeah, I think the disappointment for me growing up is that I'd do a sport, I'd get really good at it, and then I'd move on. Rather than
hard for some.
Rather than, let's just commit to one and see, it'd be amazing to be, have a career in sport right now. That'd be awesome. But I just kept changing. So yeah, it just wasn't to be. So
especially with the money involved in our sport these days, it's you probably kick yourself going,
yeah, well but just training, like just loving training and just being able to do that as your job would be amazing.
I don't know if you've heard, but I know a lot of certainly AFL footballers, they love the game, and then when they get into an AFL club, it's like a job.
Yeah.
Do you think that's an attitude of the person, or do you think that that's just the nature of the beast? If that makes sense?
I think at the end of the day, they got to realise that it is a job. You're getting paid, good amounts of money to do this, but just be happy that your job is, the goal of your job is to do something that you love doing, which is playing football. So, but I think it is a hard transition when you go from just, your club you grew up with, where you just rock up on Saturday and play footy, you train Tuesday, Thursday, just for the lads having fun, and then you add in so much more responsibility. It's a difficult transition, but you just got to just focus on game day where you get out there, which is exactly the same like it normally is. You still got the coach yelling at you.
Yeah.
But you're out there with your mates and having an awesome time doing what you love.
And instead of 90 people watching you, you've got 90,000 people.
Yeah. The other option is you can go do another job Monday to Friday, which you're probably not going to be happy with.
You're not going to have people like cheer you.
We're earning $60,000 a year.
Exactly right. And these guys, I can appreciate it would be stressful because if I stuff up or if I drink drive or if I get in a punch on,
gets in the media.
I'm not going to have a camera flung in my face, and I'm not going to get hounded, and it's not going to affect it's going to affect my family, but not to that much of a degree.
Yeah.
Where these poor blokes, they can't shit the wrong way.
Yeah.
And they're on the front page.
Yeah.
Especially a business partner of yours, Tyson Goldsack.
Yeah.
He's never been in trouble. He's probably your picture perfect AFL player from a club perspective.
Yeah, but if there is, we've got drinks that sort of can align with that moment. So if he is in trouble, we can give him a UTONIC repair. If you've got a little bit out of control, we can chuck him a UTONIC calm. So
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Multifaceted. I love it, mate. Fantastic.
Yeah. But there's a lot of pressures on them, but I think they get a really good support network, and it's the same as building a business. There's a lot of pressure on you, but there is rewards. So you just got to weigh it up whether it's worth it or not. And you do see some players obviously do bail out because it's just too much pressure for them, which is understandable. But the rewards are there for the pressure.
And I understand that they do earn good money for a certain period of time in their life.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It's the networking opportunities that the average Joe like myself on the streets that does it or has a 9-to-5 job doesn't necessarily get. So they have these sponsors, they've got people that love them. Yeah. And while we all can't be Dustin Martin, Dane Swan, Danny Frawley,
Tyson Goldsack, where they have made a very good career for themselves after football. Yeah. You've got to take advantage of the opportunities. Now, there's different opportunities that what I would have as a 9-to-5 worker compared to what they have. Yeah. But it's always, there's two sides to every coin. Yeah. And I think that they get privileges that I wouldn't, and I get privileges that they wouldn't, like not being on the front page every 5 minutes and that, but they get networking and stuff like that. So perfect world, probably a bit of a more of a flat line,
where it's a bit of a bell curve. But that's life, isn't it? We all have our own journey, and
everyone's got their challenges.
Exactly right. And I think that if we all had the same life, it would be very boring.
Yeah, true.
So finishing up at school, did you have an idea? I like to ask this question because everyone seems to have a different answer, which is completely understandable.
Yeah.
Did you have an idea, or when did you have an idea of what you wanted to do after school?
No idea.
No idea?
No
Like
idea.
me.
No idea, but the push from my parents was university.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't study a lot for my final year exams. Still did pretty good. And yeah, didn't want to just go do a degree for the hell of it, but I applied, and so I got into wine marketing.
Yes.
I got into, economics finance, but then deferred for a year. And so during that year, just lived it up as an 18-year-old does, moved out of home.
Brilliant.
I was working 3 jobs.
Okay.
So working in a bottle shop, working in a restaurant, working at a nightclub as well.
Yes.
And yeah, just spent the year just enjoying myself.
Why not?
And then went back to university, did economics finance for a couple of years, and then switched to wine marketing. So there was a subject called Maths 1M, and I was like, this is the most stupidest subject ever. I was in the exam for about 20 minutes, and then I said, nah, I'm changing.
So you got to the exam part.
Yeah, I did the whole thing. Yeah.
And then you were like...
And I was just like, this is just such a waste of time. I couldn't, and so I then switched degrees and did switch to wine marketing.
Yes.
And then followed through with that, and then
And that was the Bachelor of Wine Marketing?
Bachelor of Wine Marketing, yeah. So with the wine boom in Australia, they started. This is a very new degree, but just thought we're going to need marketers to sell this product. So they just dedicated a whole degree to that.
And was that to sell the product within Australia, or I know there's a big
No,
China market?
it was quite strategic, so international, everything. So Australian Wine and Brandy Corporation had this, I think they called it like 2020, or 2010, can't remember. It might have been 2010, given I was doing it back in 2003, which was the strategy for the wine industry globally and what they wanted to achieve, and they smashed those targets. Real quick. So a lot earlier than expected, given the growth. So yeah, that was sort of based around all the new plantings that they were doing, and the obviously fruit that was going to come through from that. So then they, to not have a wine glut, they obviously needed to have some direction with pushing sales. So. And
what attracted you to the glitz and glamour of the wine industry?
A friend in the family, he worked in the wine industry, and he obviously loved it. He was a very social person, and he sort of spoke that it was such a great industry to work in.
Okay.
And it did interest me. At the time, I didn't even drink wine.
Yes.
I grew up drinking vodka cruisers, didn't even drink beer.
Vodka cruisers?
Yeah.
Can't believe you just admitted that. I got you on camera and on mic. That's fantastic.
I admit.
What was your favourite flavour?
Raspberry.
Did you have a lollipop as well, or?
Oh, what a little bitch, huh? But then at parties, like you go to a party and everyone's trying to steal them. Or the lads are just like, give me one.
The lads?
Yeah.
I thought it would have been right in with the ladies.
The guys drinking beers and they're like, give me some vodka cruisers because they want to do strawpedos with them. Where you put the straw in and then just scull it.
Maybe that's where I went wrong. No, that's not where I went wrong. But
yeah. So
that's fantastic.
But yeah, so then it just was an interesting sort of field and sort of opportunity, and yeah, went for it. So that's
awesome.
where I learned to drink wine.
And you're obviously a bit of a wine connoisseur now.
Yeah, so during that degree, I actually do wine education. And they decided to put it all in 1 week. So you have to go and you have to drink all your different wines, all your different fortifieds, so your sherries, your Montelados, Finos, and then into your whiskies and your gins. And
this wasn't O week?
No, this wasn't O week. This was exam week. Because then at the end, so you do this, and at the end of it, you have to have an exam where you're drinking and you're having to write about them.
Where do I sign up?
So yeah, you can imagine there's some pretty wasted people in this room.
And you have to write as well.
Yeah,
my gosh.
So you got to smell it, you got to taste it. You're supposed to spit it out, but we're all young teenagers, 20s and stuff, so you don't spit out alcohol.
Absolutely not.
So yeah, it was very interesting.
That's fantastic. That reminds me of, it was one of my birthdays when I was in Sydney, the Hunter Valley. I love that place. And I don't drink a lot of wine, but I think it's more the fact that I'm cheap.
Yeah.
And I love the free wine, to be completely honest. And at the start, I would start with the old twirl it round and look for the spider's legs, I think they call them.
Church
legs,
windows.
that's right, that's it. And then you give it a smell.
Yeah.
And then I would taste or have a bit of a sip. Wasn't spitting out anything because don't be silly. And then my best friends were probably 3 or 4 wineries in. You were just looked at it, twirled it round, and every winery got to it would come closer to the top. And then I'd just smash it down, and I don't remember. Great day, came home with lots of wine and port that I'm still trying to get through now, I think. So it
happens.
It does, but it's such a good atmosphere. I've never been to the Barossa Valley, which I'd love to one day. But the Hunter Valley, it's probably one of my favourite places, certainly within Australia. Just because it's so calm, relaxing.
Good place to get out of
beautiful. Control. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, perfect. How did you juggle the workload between studying and 3 jobs at that time at such a young age, and obviously partying, drinking at cruises, sucking on a lollipop? How did you juggle all those different things, or was it just being young?
Well, when I had the 3 jobs, I wasn't at uni.
Okay.
So through uni, I just worked mainly just the one job at the bottle shop. And they were very flexible, sort of with my workload. And it wasn't a super busy bottle shop, so a lot of the time I'll be doing my uni work at the bottle shop,
Fantastic.
which worked out well.
Paid to do it, love it.
Hope they're not listening. And then, when I sort of left university, then obviously went into, just full-time work at the winery. So it wasn't, time management, it's pretty easy. There's a lot of hours in the day. The degree in wine marketing isn't a very heavy workload. It's not like a science degree where you're doing sort of 25 hours contact time. Yes. I had maybe 12 hours contact, and then the rest was just on your own onus.
Plus some more.
Yeah.
So you're always happy to study that in the wine course, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's definitely interesting. It's I'm glad I did it 100%.
And I take it you would still use a lot of those skills would have been transferable into your past roles and obviously into your future role.
Yeah. So then obviously shifting into the wine industry and working, sort of doing the hands-on, the making sort of elements of it. And then even creating a UTONIC, being able to sort of, smell and taste and mouthfeel and all those different elements have still come in handy. And when you're obviously going out to a restaurant, being able to know what's wrong with the wine or whether it's okay or all those different elements.
So you did the wine marketing course.
Yep.
And that was at the University of Adelaide. You finished that. How long did that go for again?
That was 3 years.
3 years. Brilliant. You finished that course, and then where did that qualification take you?
So initially, obviously understanding a bit more about marketing and obviously knowing wine, what I really wanted to do is get my hands dirty and go and do a vintage. So that's where you work the harvest season in the winery. So doing anything from, crushing grapes to, dealing with the ferments to racking, just so many different jobs and really hands-on. So I worked the night shifts. So you work 7 o'clock at night till 7 in the morning. And then you'd have a couple of beers, go to sleep for 4 or 5 hours. And I loved it because then I'd get up early, sort of 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's summertime. I'd go to the pool, I'd go for a run, go for a ride. So, you feel like you're on holidays almost.
Yeah.
But then you've got to, in 5 hours time, start and work another 12 hours.
That's awesome. And then, so that was in the Barossa Valley, is that correct?
Yeah, Barossa Valley for a winery called St. Hallett. So I worked there on and off for the next 5 years.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
And you were mentioning earlier that you did some travel to other wineries.
Yep.
Where did that travel take you?
So initially I went over to Canada and did a vintage over there. Beautiful. And then also worked a ski season in Lake Louise. So I learnt to snowboard and do all that element, which was amazing. Then came back, did another vintage in the Barossa, and then the next sort of 3 years were on and off in France. So I did a vintage in Bordeaux, which was wonderful. And then while I was there, met a French girl, and then came back and brought her over here with me. And then she had a winery in Chablis.
Okay, so she had a winery herself.
Yeah, which is in the Burgundy region. So taking over her parents' winery. So she now runs that. So spent the next few years sort of living there and starting a bit of a life. And
Yes.
anything there from being on the tractor in the vineyards to actually dealing with international sales. So yeah, you literally do from start to finish when you work for those smaller wineries over there. So that was a really, really amazing part of my life and thoroughly enjoyed it.
That's awesome. That French girl no longer part of your life, I take it?
I was still in contact. Obviously, social media makes it easy to stay in touch. And me and myself and my wife one day head over there for sure.
Great.
I started to help build a house there. So
Okay. Awesome.
so it'd be interesting to see the sort of transition and how it is now. Yeah.
And how long ago was that? About 10 years?
Yeah, that'd be, what was it, 04, 05, 06?
Okay, wonderful.
So yeah, so a while ago now.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
And obviously working in that smaller environment, you said that you're responsible or you needed to do everything from start to end.
Yep.
From your perspective, is that a really good experience to get, so you know what needs to be done? You can learn those different skills, what we were referring to earlier.
Yeah, definitely. It requires you to learn so much, dealing with lots of different areas, putting a lot of different hats on, and yeah, lots of different skills, and dealing with people of different walks of life as well. Whether you're on the tractor dealing with farmers or whether you're dealing with international buyers, they've all need a different approach. So definitely taught you a lot. And in a different language as well makes it. Language barrier just adds another element, so which was tough.
I could imagine, yes. With the international sales, where was the main interest from around the world for Canadian wine?
Oh, no, so this would be for the French...
French wine.
For the French wines.
Getting confused.
Yeah. So they were selling all through Europe, so lots of different places, but then trying to break into... So they're in Australia now as well. And then also in South Africa, UK, quite a lot. So as a small producer, you don't have a lot to sort of go out.
Yes.
So you sell direct where you can in the local sort of area, and then find some other merchants to sort of go a little bit wider.
So with them, in regards to the merchants, is that obviously not going to go to a Dan Murphy's equivalent because you don't have the stock?
No, it's all little independents.
So it's bottle shops, or is it restaurants, or?
Yeah, bit of both. So over here it's a couple of French restaurants which want to have a nice collection of sort of boutique French wines. So yeah.
That's awesome. And it's obviously still going well for her.
Yeah. No, going really well.
Right.
Yeah.
Any fun stories that you can share while you were travelling?
Yeah, that's a crazy part of my life, and definitely had a lot of fun. I was lucky enough to see the Rugby World Cup when I was over there.
Oh,
so I was in France at the same time, so I went to the semi-final, Argentina, South Africa.
Yes.
And at the same time, my friend was living in London, so I got to go and spend some time with him. That was at a time when we were smashing the Poms and the Ashes, so that was really good.
Fantastic.
But then one of the nights when I was about to be coming back to France and then heading home back to Australia, I wanted to take a bit of a memento, so I climbed a pub there to steal the Union Jack flag off the roof. And when I was up there, saw some people looking at me, so didn't steal it, came down, and then just like a scene out of the Bill, 3 cop cars just pounced on us. And then, arrested us and took us to the station and locked us up. And we were locked up for about 8 hours before we got interviewed. And then what had happened is there was a break-in just around the corner. And so they thought that we were the guys that had broken in. But then after they interviewed us and realised that we were just a couple of drunk Aussies trying to steal a Union Jack flag, they let us go.
No. Oh, that's yeah, I could imagine.
But yeah, it was pretty full on. Imagine 3 o'clock in the morning, cop cars just pouncing
Would
on
have been
you.
like out of a movie.
Yeah.
That's, oh my God. So obviously they were out looking for the person or
Yeah, the people
that
had just broken in and then just
saying you pissed as a fart up.
thought it was us.
Oh, that's unreal.
Yeah.
And you didn't even get the flag.
No, I didn't get the
So
flag.
you didn't get a memento. Oh.
Yeah, and
This
I
was-
thought, I thought I'd looked for CCTV cameras, but the post that I climbed was a CCTV camera. So they had me on full camera. They're like, "We know that you've done this."
How long have you been drinking for?
I'm not too long, just probably 5 or 6 hours. So
Not so long.
yeah, but it was dark. You just look around, I couldn't see it. In broad daylight, I could see it easily, but
That's
yeah.
fantastic. And I'm surprised they let you out being an Aussie and we smashed them in the ashes. Like,
Yeah, and my mate was also like drilling into them, saying that you guys are shit, like we're smashing you. And I was just like, mate, they've just arrested us.
just wait until we get out, bro.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wasn't doing us any favors.
No, so I bet you sobered up pretty quickly though after that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing like a
He
bit of
fell
a shock.
asleep, but I didn't.
Good boy, good boy.
Yeah.
So after that, I've titled here Diamonds Last Forever, but in your case they didn't. You became a diamond buyer and brand manager.
So I went, finished up in the wine industry, done a lot of different things, but wanted to do more. And I'd always thought about doing accountancy. So I went back and I did my master's in commerce, major in accountancy, which took 18 months. So, at 30 years old at that time. To go back and study full time is, a big step.
Yes.
It's quite challenging. A lot of these other young punks coming through.
Yeah. Think they know it all.
Yeah. So you're like the old guy on campus, but that was fine. Took them under my wing.
I was going to say, you don't seem like... I thought you were 30 now. Yeah. So, I could see you getting along with those young fellas, teach them a thing or two.
I did. I could fit into the situation just fine. That was really interesting, and accountancy just makes sense in my brain.
Okay.
It's just wired that way. So really thoroughly enjoyed that, except for one of the subjects, finance, which I failed the first time round. The second time round, I didn't go to university and just did it myself, and then I was fine. So I put that down to the lecturer.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
just not knowing and just confusing me.
And not knowing how to, now look, what I can't do, get the theory across.
Yeah. He was such a bad teacher, so that's why I just did it myself. I had the material, just taught myself, and then away I went.
So there is a bit of a trend or a theme throughout your life that you are a self-learner.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
self-motivator.
definitely. Yeah, so went and did that, and then tried to get a position at accounting firms, which found difficult.
Okay.
A lot of people said, "Oh, you've got too much personality to work."
I was just about to say that you're too young and you say too many words because it's not.
Yeah. So that was difficult because I was just like, guys, I want to do this.
Yes.
Maybe it'd be good for your firm to have someone that can deal with people and have a bit of personality. So I said, whether you guys give me the opportunity or not, I'm going to keep looking. I'll do it somewhere else if you don't give it to me. So ended up finding a position. But I only lasted about 6 months. I definitely had too much life in me for that environment. So then a good friend of mine had a jewelry company.
Yes.
And I'd been, sort of going mountain biking with him quite a bit on the weekends. And he sort of knew I was looking for a position. And he said, I think that we should get you into our company. Okay. He said, you've got sales, you've got marketing, you've got numbers. He said, that mix, we just don't find.
It's the package, yes.
Yeah, and he said, and I need more dudes in the office. He said, it's just chicks.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, jewelry, diamonds, yeah.
Yeah, sparky things.
God's best friends, yeah.
So, so they had a chain around nationally. So I had about 48 stores. Okay. Shields Jewellers and Graham's Jewellers.
Yes, yeah.
So went into the diamond department there and just grew from there.
That's awesome. And just jumping back a step, it sounds like what you were saying about having too much personality for accounting is what we were talking about earlier about some business are very old school in their ways. And
yeah.
Like I've got two really good mates that are actually accountants.
Yeah.
That I work with. So I know a couple of other people that are accountants and that are great blokes. But all those guys don't fit the mould as to some accountants that I've worked with previously where it's literally a struggle to get a word out. It's like getting blood out of a stone.
Yeah.
They're very old school. They struggle to grasp why you're asking a question. It's normally just, this is why. Or sorry, they'll just say this is what they need and not explain why. And I think I'm very much like you as...
They're black and white.
Yeah, I want to know why. I'm not questioning what you're doing, but I like to know... So, like...
Drill it down. Explain it for me.
Yes, explain it for me so I know why for future.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense in my brain.
Yeah.
And then I'm in a better position to either go back and get that information or explain it to someone. So... And
they can't build that bridge, yeah.
And I think a lot of people... just in general, think that you're questioning their information or their whatever the word I'm looking for.
Yep.
That I'm not having to go at you whatsoever. I just am 20 questions because I like to know not the intricate details, but I just like to get a bit of an overall view, so I can learn. And it might be not something that's relevant to, in a work sense, my work, but just for general information, because I like to learn about a whole different range of things.
Yeah.
So that old saying, well, not even this, but like a jack of all trades, a master of none.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It'd be great to be a master of a trade or AKA trade, but just having that overall general
master of being Jack.
Yeah, that's it. So,
which is a trade.
That's it, yeah. Master of just blabbering on, so I'm getting good at that. But yeah, I'm probably inquisitive is probably the right word, and I think it's like a little kid. Like when I was up in Sydney, two of my best friends have got 2 kids and just had their third. Congratulations, Carly and Steve.
Yep.
It's why. I'm not like that.
Yeah.
But I can appreciate it is quite, like, it's not annoying, but
so
that's what kids do. But you need to learn, exactly. I'm only asking why because this may not make sense, or in a customer service perspective, like as a manager, I'm the one that ultimately needs to know why, because my staff would have been like, why? And then it makes me look silly, or there's so many different things. I could talk about it for hours, but yeah, I just wanted to put that back full circle as what we were talking about earlier, as to you probably having too much energy and probably being too much personality.
This wasn't the right environment,
You then mentioned that you went to the Diamond Company.
Yep.
So you've worked in some very luxurious and whiz-bang not organisations, but industries. So going from wine to diamonds. Yeah. You're like the perfect package. You're a sportsman. You're fit.
Just need flowers and chocolates.
Well, there's still time for that. But I don't think there will. I think you're on a bit of a winner with your current business. But before we get there, it's quite a different field.
Diamonds.
Yeah. Obviously, you said that your mate wanted you to come into the office.
Yep.
Was there any hesitation going from wine, then accounting, to something completely different, although you did have those skills? Or did you think that it was a so-called natural progression because you did have those skills?
Well, it's interesting going into wine, like I knew nothing about wine. I didn't even drink it. And going into diamonds, I knew zero about diamonds. So
they just cost a lot, I'm sure. Yeah.
And there was, so there was hesitation, but it interested me. There was hesitation from them as well because I had a friendship with one of the guys there. So a lot of people would, sort of thinking, oh, he's just been brought in because he's your mate. So that was very challenging for me, but it didn't take me too long to win everyone over. And, they saw by my work ethic, and it wasn't that they needed to push me, I pushed myself. And, they were 100% happy. So I started off in the diamond department, then moved into buying coloured stones. So I had to learn about all your different, your emeralds, your rubies, your sapphires, your citrines, like so many different stones.
Okay.
All your metals, and then back into diamonds. And it was there that I then started to grow a couple of the brands there.
That's right.
And manage them. So Hearts on Fire, which is a global brand, and another one, Flawless Cut, which did a lot of designing for and everything else. So,
and you were involved in that whole process, or is it? Because I'm very naive when it comes to diamonds.
So the whole process from conceptualizing, so obviously thinking, okay, we need some more pendants, looking for new designs, sort of like doing little drawings, sending that to the designers who would then do up the CAD drawing, to then getting costings, But you need to be able to sort of visualize and think, okay, how much is this going to cost to make? You know, the diamonds are going to go into it, how it's sort of going to look, to then what retail sort of price point we're going to be able to get on that, and are people going to buy that? So there's a lot of different factors that you need to think about on that sort of journey. But yeah, a lot of fun.
I bet. And was that business a high price point business, or was it more of a middle price point?
Is in the price of the jewelry?
Yeah.
Anything from $50 to $25,000-$30,000. So a lot of different stuff. Obviously in the diamond space, you know, rings sort of starting off 2,000 and upwards. But then, you know, some other sort of more costume jewelry sometimes, which was a lot cheaper.
Of course.
But yeah, the big thing was having to obviously buy parcels of diamonds, and then you've got to like weigh them all individually, check them all for their flaws.
Yes.
And make sure that they are what they're saying. So whether you then accept the parcel, whether you send it back to them.
And did you have one supplier, or did you have multiple suppliers?
No, we had multiple suppliers. Went to Vegas as well. Go to Hong Kong, so the different fairs there. So they're, you know, pretty good parties over there and a lot of fun times. But you notice when you work in the industry that there's a lot of diamonds out there. You go to these jewelry fairs and there is diamonds everywhere. It's just crazy.
Pardon the pun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's interesting, because I would have never thought that. So you prefer quality, or is it dependent on the price point and the design as to what you would accept, or is it? That's probably a hard question to answer.
I think everything's based on price, you know. You need to, when you purchase something, you need to see value. Otherwise, you're not going to be happy. So if you get free diamonds, then you love them because they're free.
That's it.
But if you're paying $100 or $1,000, then it needs to be showing that value.
What a cracking part one that was with Mr. Brinkley. I'm sure you enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed having a chat with Michael. He's an absolute down-to-earth, humble, genuinely funny guy. I don't know about you, but I sure did love the story about stealing the Union Jack, or attempting to steal the Union Jack off the top of the pub. The cops just appearing out of nowhere, waiting 8 hours to be questioned, his mate getting lippy, which I would have no idea why he'd be getting lippy when you are behind bars and you know you've done nothing wrong, but still, you just never know. You're in a foreign country. The Poms don't take losing too well. So yeah, each to their own, I suppose, but Michael's out living a life, and he's lived a life, which is probably the main thing. And as he said during that episode, do what makes you happy, follow your dreams, and relaying it back to myself, that's what I'm certainly trying to do. So I'm trying to live out my dream. It's very small steps at this stage, but I'm having an absolute ball, and I hope that you're enjoying the product and content that I'm publishing on a weekly basis. So again, we'd love for you to support UTONIC. You can get more information on their website, utonic.com, and that's spelled UTONIC. And again, all this information will be in the show notes at pearceypresents.com, and I'll certainly be putting them in the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram posts as well. So there's certainly no excuse not to see and follow and support those guys as well. On Facebook and Instagram, it's at drinkutonic, or you can shoot them an email at team@utonic.com. They've also got a hashtag going, much like myself, hashtag Pearcey Presents. They've got hashtag drinkutonic. So if you're on Twitter, I'd love for you to tweet Tyson Goldsack, say that you heard Michael on the Pearcey Presents podcast, tag in Pearcey Presents, let him know that you've heard Michael and that you'd love to hear him. That would be fantastic. We'd love to get Tyson on to hear about the UTONIC experience from his perspective, and also what's going on with his knee, and just about Tyson in general. But we'll see what we can do with that. But it'd be good. I don't believe Michael's on Twitter, but you can certainly email him through LinkedIn. It's really just to show the guests that you've heard them or heard their partners on the show, and that you are supporting them, and the podcast is really greatly appreciated by them and myself, and just shows them that they haven't wasted their time, and that their message is getting out there slowly but surely. Thanks so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed part 1. Part 2's just as good. This is where we get a real insight into Michael, He's a very romantic man. This is some really good stories. We get to know more about UTONIC in this episode as well, regarding the name and the concept, people behind it. And then we get into our 2 segments, Michael's outlook on life and also our random questions as well. So again, have a great day, guys. Again, really appreciate it and have a wonderful day. This has been Pearcey of the Pearcey Presents Podcast. Baby!